Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. On the agenda tonight, we have Angelo Batio, and Mike's going to be playing through his original track called No Boundaries. Now, if you don't know Mike and you haven't heard his stuff, he's voted as the fastest guitar player in the world, or at least he was by readers of Guitar World magazine. So let's get Mike up on screen and see how he gets on. I'm just going to stop it there before my face melts. One thing to mention about Michael is that he is so technically good that it would take years and years and years and years to build up the speed that he's got. And I once saw an interview with Mike, and he said that he wanted to take what he was doing on the keyboard or on the piano onto the guitar. So he said, you know, as a piano player myself, and he was talking like that at this stage when he's this fast at guitar. He was saying, as a piano player, I really wanted to get those same little runs that I could do on the piano, but then translate them to the fretboard. Exactly the same as Sean Lane. He actually started as a piano player as well. So it's that transition over to the guitar. Obviously, Michael made that transition when he was 10. So he started early. He started playing piano at 5. So he had a whole 5 years on piano and then moved over when he was 10. And I think at the age of 13, his guitar teacher said, I can't do anything more for you because you're faster than I am. So you're going to have to go elsewhere. At a very young age, he'd play for 10 or 12 hours at like the church or the youth center or wherever he went. And I'm sure that he was spending all the other hours of the day just practicing and getting down the techniques. And it takes so long to get this fast and this accurate. But having a look at the way that he's playing, you'll notice that on his right hand, in order to really build up his speed and become the most efficient picker and the most efficient sweeper that he can be, he's not actually resting his right hand on the guitar. A lot of players you'll see resting to give yourself a reference point so that where you rest your hand on the strings, your pick knows exactly where each of those strings are. But you'll see he actually rests his little finger and third finger on the top of the guitar body so that he doesn't sacrifice any speed by being stuck with the palm of his hand on the guitar. So he has that nice fluid up and down motion, which means of course he can now hover around strings and really speed up his playing. And Michael's whole technique is just geared towards speed. It's just obviously been the fastest guy in the world. Everything that he's worked out is to make the fastest transition possible from string to string, from note to note, and that's what he's done with that right hand. He's really become so efficient. He's found the quickest way of moving that hand between strings and also to alternate pick. Mike's one of those guys that has just got insane alternate picking ability with these runs. It's so fast and so accurate. Another thing to mention has got to be the action on the guitar. And if you don't know what the action is, it's the distance of the strings to the guitar neck. And when he's playing here, it looks so smooth and fluid because the action's got to be so low. It is almost like playing a piano where he's just touching very lightly on the string, and that is going to be enough to get a sound out of the string. If you have a cheaper guitar at home, you'll find that the distance from the string to the fretboard is quite a lot, so you've got a high action. So it will take a certain amount of time to actually push the string down before it makes contact with the fretboard. So if it takes half a second to push down, obviously you're now limited to how fast you can play. The fastest you can play is a note, and then half a second later another note. Whereas the lower your action is, and generally what tends to happen is the higher quality guitar that you buy, just a more quality piece of wood that is more perfectly flat, so that your fretboard and your string can now be perfectly parallel, and you can push that string down to get that action as low as possible, which will then increase your speed. Obviously, if you've now got a lower action that's half as low, you can now play double as fast. And the amount of hours that Mike would have put into this would be insane. And I'm not talking about you put in 6 to 10 hours a day and then after a year you've got it all down. I'm talking years and years and years of that consistent practice to become the fastest in the world, or at least seen as one of the fastest in the world. But let's get into it a little bit more. I'm just going to stop it there, and just to get the vibrato thing out the way, Mike's vibrato is just insanely wide. You can listen to it sometimes and he's really pushing that vibrato, and this is it with different players, you get different vibratos, and Mike, it's all about being over the top. The technical ability he's got is just insane, but also the fact that he has that underhand and then overhand technique, and he's shredding over the top of the guitar. Again, add a few more years to your practice of 6 or 10 hours a day, and then you can start to get up to that level. And all of that is just for show. It's not easier to do that. It's harder to play underhand and then overhand and underhand. So it's so much more practice that you've just lumped onto your plate. But Michael is just one of those guys that I think he just wants to play everything as fast as possible, and that's his mission. And then once he's achieved that, he thinks, right, how else can I play this fast? Oh, I can play it over the top. Okay, well, hitting harmonics are boring the normal way. How can I make it more difficult? Oh, I can put my hand over the top and hit harmonics and alternate between under and over. So he just pushes everything to the absolute limit. And I love the fact that he's a really small guy and he's got on the Gold's Gym vest. That kind of just sums it all up. He's actually a really cool character as well. I've seen interviews with him where he's so unique and a little bit weird, but I like it because I find that kind of thing quite entertaining, and he's got a good sense of humor as well. But I think you have to have a slight aspect to your personality where you just go into such detail with things, and people will see that as a bit weird in terms of studying these techniques so in depth and spending so long playing the same runs and the same techniques over and over and over again. It would be seen as weird to some people, but the eventual goal, he knows exactly what he's aiming for, and he knows that I need to put in this amount of hours for this amount of time to get to my goal, and once I reach that goal, I decide where the next goal is. Let's have a little look at some more. we go, and what a great performance that was. And I love the way that it just says really casually on there, learn to play no boundaries, as if you're just going to load it up and sit there and try and work it out and be able to play it in maybe a day. What a great performance there. And this is from Metal Method, like I said at the beginning, in an instructional DVD. You can see it all on the internet now and kind of download it from the internet as well. But yeah, so that's his instructional DVD, and if you want to play like that, you can watch his DVD, and he just tells you how to do everything. But he doesn't say how long it's going to take you to build up those techniques up to that level, but I think anyone who's wanting to play like that has already got an understanding of how much time it's going to take them. Another thing you'll see with Mike is his two-neck guitar, his dual guitar, where he plays left-handed and right-handed at the same time. That's one of those things, again, over the top, and I think he also does a four-neck guitar as well, one with, I think it's got 7 strings on the top and 6 strings on the bottom 2 guitars as well. So it's really over the top, everything that he does, but it's over the top with being amazingly technical and amazingly thorough in his practice and his technique. But as a player, I can appreciate the sacrifices that he must have made to get his playing up to this level. So if you want an idea of a fastest player in the world, this is the kind of thing that you're going to be looking at. Angelo Batio, what an amazingly fast player and amazingly accurate player. And he throws together some really cool melodies as well. It's not for everyone, but you can certainly appreciate, if you do play guitar, how long it's taken Mike to get up to this standard and get up to this speed. But anyway, thank you so much for suggesting this video for me to take a look at. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below and keep those suggestions coming. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!